Hi, guys. Welcome to the PHP. I'm Booker. That's Perez. What's up?
Oh my gosh. So much is up, from literally breaking news drama at this Dave Chappelle show in Los Angeles to the Met Gala in New York and all of the wackiness that went on there, including Nicki Minaj almost pulling a Will Smith, Cardi B's meltdown, the Kardashian Jenner takeover. We're also going to talk about Meghan Markle getting the can, Amanda Bynes making a lot of people very concerned for her, Olivia Wilde having a really embarrassing moment in front of so many people, Madonna digging herself even further, and we're going to talk to truly. Last week, I was watching back our show, and I quite astutely, when talking about Lizzo, was talking about the difference between iconic and an icon.
Sure.
I would say that this, at least for the gay community, my guest at the end of our podcast today is a true icon. Chatting with Margaret Cho.
Wow, cool.
Trailblazing comedian and actress, and has a lot to say. So stay tuned for that after our calls. But first, well, you fucking blabbed that we are going to be on Juicy Scoop. So I'm just going to let everybody know.
I didn't say we were going to be on. I said we were trying to work it out so we could be on. There's a difference.
All right, whatever. Well, I'm going to let everybody know you got COVID.
I did, yes.
How are you? So you got COVID literally, you found out minutes after we stopped recording last week's podcast. Yeah. So you've had it now for a week. How have you felt? What's that experience been like?
It's a party, let me tell you. Yeah, you're right. I did find out right after the show, because I started with the show saying I felt like maybe I have a little cold.
Yeah.
And when I said that, I said, I was at Disney 2 nights prior. I was around people, but I was outdoors, and I did get my booster shot the same day. So I just assumed every time I've gotten the shot, it's kind of knocked me out a little bit. It gave me kind of, that feeling of being tired and, having some sort of cold symptoms. But I said, I was outside. I said, let me just check just in case. And I took the test, and that second line just lit up just like that. And I was like, oh man, you got to be kidding me. I have COVID. So the first day was nothing. The second day, you really start to feel symptoms. And by the end of the second day, it's unbelievable. I could only describe it as like, maybe like a little arsonist is in your body and just setting little fires everywhere. And like one day your throat will hurt and that'll be gone the next day, but you'll have a new symptom, like you'll have a head cold.
And reminder, a minute ago, you told everybody that you were vaccinated and boosted, and you were feeling all of this despite that.
Yeah, no, you feel everything. I mean, I can't imagine.
And you lost your sense of taste.
I lost my sense of taste for a day. That was another thing. Came
only
back
a
the
day.
Next day.
Okay.
So it was very weird that all of these things, it's really wild, your body's immunity and how it works. But like I said, like it would go and attack one thing and my body would take care of it. Then it would be a next thing. Then it would feel like a sinus infection. Then it would feel like a flu. Then it would feel like a cold. It was a wild experience.
You told me you also did feel very fatigued, like truly tired.
Yeah. I've never slept as much as I have in the past week. And I'm not a great sleeper, but I could say I've easily slept 12 to 15 hours a day. And it just it just really knocks you out. Overall, it is like the flu or a cold, but it's different types of flus and colds that don't really seem to relent. They just move around your body and act different ways. It's wild, but
imagine
I barely have a line left. Yeah. I haven't tested yet today. I imagine I'm clear today. Today's probably my clear day, but it's wild.
Imagine if you weren't vaccinated.
Or if you're compromised
Yeah.
or you're older and you can't, like I was saying, how my body would put these fires out. I could literally feel it going from one thing to the next and thinking, wow, my body's really doing its job, or this vaccination, whatever's doing its job,
And
because
you
it sucks, but it's not like unbearable,
you didn't take anything, like there aren't any new therapeutics or things like that to help get out of your body?
I took Tylenol one day because a headache was one of the side effects one day, which worked because I did have a fever one day. It went up to 100. I took the Tylenol. It went away. It never came back. And I took Theraflu. And Theraflu, the nighttime stuff, which knocks you out. And that was great. And that's all I really needed. And I just let it run its course. And I'm back. I feel great. I sound normal. And here I am.
And you kept yourself isolated from your girlfriend, and she managed to not get, she got sick?
No, she didn't get sick.
Oh, okay.
I did manage that. Luckily, because I went to Disney, and anytime I do anything, I've moved myself into the other bedroom just in case. And that was one of those situations. Plus, we have the foster dogs. This couldn't have happened at a worse time. We took 3 dogs in, and poor Kellen had to take care of, not really take care of me, but it would have to, put my food in the hallway like a dog and take care of these 3 dogs at the same time and do everything, including our dog and everything around the house. And she had to do a lot. She did great. But no, we're both, even in the house, I've mostly been masked. If I have to leave to go out through the back, I'd put a mask on. She'd be masked if she'd come into the hallway, but I haven't seen my living room since we last talked. The last time we spoke is the last time I've actually been out to my living area. So I've just been this room, and I have like a Jack and Jill here. So this is one bedroom, and there's a bathroom between, and there's a bedroom on the other side. And I've been essentially living in these 2 rooms for the past 7 days. I haven't left, and it's sort of like prison. It's wild.
Well, I'm thankful that you're doing better, and thankful that your girlfriend didn't get sick. If anything, this last week was a reminder for you of how important our health is. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly reminded of that. And if you want to be healthier, you should try out Belly Welly, especially if you have any kind of gut issues. Belly Welly is this bar that is low FODMAP. And I only recently learned about low FODMAP, but basically it's got all these probiotics, Belly Welly, and they are delicious, by the way, but they're important for a healthier day, healthier gut. They've got the probiotics. They won't upset your stomach. If you've got other issues like IBS or bloating, Belly Welly will help you. And not only are they delicious, but they come in so many different flavors that are just, the variety is amazing. They've got birthday cake, blueberry muffin, fudge brownie, lemon white chocolate, and more. They're also gluten-free, vegan, and if you just want to be healthier, they're great for you. They've got fiber. Go to bellywelly.com and use code Perez30 to unlock a 30% discount. That's bellywelly.com and use Perez30, BELLIWELLI. Thank you to Belly Welly, and make sure you guys check out all of our sponsors. All right. So unfortunately, because our show is a pop culture show, we're stuck. For me, and not everybody feels this way, because if any of you watched my interview with Heather McDonald, actually, of Juicy Scoop, she chooses to ignore anything other than just celebrity stuff.
Interesting.
I cannot do that, especially this week where we're in this moment where the Supreme Court might be literally taking away rights that have been given for 50 years. And I'm not even going to talk about a woman's body. I'm just going to relate it to myself. Same-sex marriage has been the law of the land now for about a decade.
Mhm.
It would be like all of a sudden the Supreme Court saying, well, actually, we think the states should decide that. Once you've given people rights, you can't take them away. Same thing with the women's right to vote. We think the states should decide that. Or same things with interracial marriage. We think the states should decide that. It makes no sense. Once you've given people rights, you cannot take it away. And I saw somebody explain, like some people are so quick to say, well, what about what about rape or incest? And actually, very few women that get abortions are doing it because of rape or incest, but there's so many other reasons why a woman might need to get an abortion. Thanks to technology, you can learn early on if a fetus is like missing organs.
Yeah.
Why would you want to deliver a fetus to term that's missing organs, or or that poses a risk to the woman? Like, you're gonna die if you give birth. Like, it's crazy to me, and it's crazy that in 2022 we're having this conversation. So yeah, there's that. But I had to address that at the beginning of our show. Mm-hmm. And I saw somebody else explain, it's like, I thought this whole country was founded on the concept of separation of church and state.
Yeah. Well.
And the people that are upset about this are because of religious reasons. Well, keep your religion out of politics. The fuck?
I talk about this country often, and I'll say what I've said before. Most democracies do not last for 200 years. We're at 251, 252. What are we at? We're at borrowed time, is my point.
What are you implying?
I'm implying this is the beginning of the end. If people can't see this country coming to an end, that this idea of democracy, the fact that we are even having this conversation, what the actual fuck? You're right. Everything you said, you're right. And yet it still may happen. It's insane to me.
Yeah. So just at the top, had to mention that. On to lighter news, the Met Gala. I'm sure your girlfriend worked it, but you're in separate rooms, so she didn't even show you anything. Did you even see like red carpet looks?
Just from everything online. Sure. I mean,
all right.
Flipping through pictures. Yeah, I did. I mean, boy, I probably have spent more time on. It's funny. Everything you mentioned, I was like, yeah, I read that story. Know that story. Got an opinion on that story
right,
because
good.
I've seen so much of this stuff this week. But yes, continue.
So I won't spend a ton of time talking about fashion because we're not very high tech and I don't have the pictures in front of me. If I did, actually, if I would have been prepared, I should have been prepared. Fuck, I should have.
This is an audio show. Video's the icing. No one cares. Come on.
All right. So, well, I'm just going to, be brief with the fashion and talk bigger picture. It sucks that one of the best dressed was Blake Lively.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be my best dressed. Okay. Why does it suck?
She's not my best dressed for a few reasons. One, it's like that fucking overachiever in school that gets like.
It sounds like she just annoys you.
No, I like her. And she was immaculate.
Yeah, she looked cool.
But she's like Elle Woods, but an annoying Elle Woods. You know what I mean? It's like so perfect, so polished, so
Ryan
put together.
Reynolds said this is like her Super Bowl. This is her. No. This is her thing.
It also.
And what else is she known for? Nothing. So what's the problem?
It also felt too safe. I'm like, I've kind of seen this at Met Gala from Blake Lively before. To me, I love an unexpected moment. I love seeing an artist, an actress, a musician, an actor in a new way. And I didn't get that from her, but she looked amazing. It's like, I can't criticize anything. She put thought into it. It was executed so well. I will tell you who my favorite was. My top two. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going into it all. My top three, briefly. My favorite, Jessica Chastain. First of all, she was so on theme. She understood the assignment. She was wearing the most gorgeous, like red, be like gilded, like just sparkly outfit. She had on a headpiece. She looked at the time. She transformed. It was just gorgeous. I also loved Normani, which what a good look for her to get invited. She looked amazing and was at the Met Gala. Unfortunately, her bandmate in Fifth Harmony from back in the day, Camila Cabello, was one of my least favorites. She looked so bad. Oh my God. If you didn't see Camila, look up those photos. And my third favorite was Lizzo. Boom. She nailed it. And it's not enough that your dress looks good, in my opinion, or your outfit. When I expect greatness from the Met Gala, I want everything. I want the dress. I want the hair, the makeup, the nails, the accessories, the shoes. It all has to work. And Lizzo nailed it. So those are my favorites. And then, I would say one of the big stories of the Met Gala 2022 was the Kardashian takeover. Mm-hmm. This was the first year that Khloe Kardashian was allowed to attend. By herself, she went. Allowed. It's true. You have to be approved.
Well, you have to be invited, right?
No, you can also buy your way in if you spend a ridiculous amount of money.
No.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but it's like an insanely expensive ticket. I thinking it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't even know how much it is, so don't quote me. But even if you buy your way in, you still need to get approved by Anna Wintour. So this was the first year that Khloe Kardashian was allowed to go, and she went as a guest of Kylie Jenner. It was also the first year that Kourtney Kardashian was allowed to go, and literally all four sisters plus Kris Jenner was there. Mm-hmm. And the Met Gala is not a ginormous event. It's held at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this space that isn't huge. So it's not an infinite amount of people that can go. Those are 4 or 5 tickets that could have gone to other deserving people or just interesting people or whatever it might be.
Deserving.
Well,
I mean, on one side of this, there's this vapid dumbass assembly of idiots. It's prom for famous. It's their 10,000th prom. Okay, that's what this is, because Hollywood, that's what it is. It's a series of proms. And on the other hand, this amazing piece of news breaks about the Supreme Court possibly taking the rights away. And the Met Gala is trending higher. That shows you where we are, okay? And by the way, when everyone there found out, they all should have marched, because where would they ever find a camera and a microphone? They should have marched their asses outside and started talking into those microphones and talking about their disgust in what is happening in our country. I saw none of that. Zero. It's the Super Bowl of vapid is what it is. So fuck all those people and their stupid prom. That's my thoughts, because I was so incredibly angry that night. And I really wish some of those nitwits would have walked outside and spoke into microphones and used their voice for something other than their dumbass outfit that they were wearing that night. Well, that is my 2 cents on the Met Gala.
I don't think a lot of them even found out about it, because
come on, none of them have the internet inside. None of them talk. Come on.
Well,
there's no excuse. This is the biggest news in the history of our country in decades, in my opinion. This is like, you got to be kidding me. The rights of women being stripped away? Huh? Get your ass out there and start talking into a microphone, you vapid pukes. That's what I say to all those Kardashians and all those nitwits in their dumbass outfits. There's my Met Gala synopsis. Enjoy that, everybody.
All right. Well, I will also say on the flip side, I'm happy that Khloe Kardashian went for her, and I'm happy that Kourtney Kardashian went. And it's kind of aspirational. Look at these reality TV stars, the freaking Met
you
Gala.
Too can assemble with other Hollywood nitwits.
Yeah.
Or it's the beginning of the end for the Met Gala.
It could be the beginning of the end.
You could look at it the other way as well.
It's weird too, because now
the cheapening of the Met Gala.
Now that they're there, there's kind of the expectation that they're always going to be there. And 5 of them will always be there. Like, what happens if Kyle, if Courtney or Chloe aren't invited next year. Well, Courtney will get invited next year because of Travis Barker. It's Chloe that's like the dark horse. Like, you don't know. Anyways,
So stupid.
Kim Kardashian, and actually, so all of them were there, and none of them looked particularly good, to be honest. Much ado was made about Kim Kardashian wearing Marilyn Monroe's iconic dress that she sang "Happy Birthday."
Oh, is that what that was?
Yes, you didn't get that memo.
No, I didn't.
That was the iconic "Happy Birthday" dress to JFK, and it was a whole production on making sure that nothing happened to it. Like, I got to give props for this. I don't think she looked that good in it, to be honest, but they built like a dressing area literally right next to the Met entrance, so that she didn't even spend that much time in the dress. She was helped to get into it. She first practiced by wearing a replica to make sure she could fit in it before she even wore that one. She only did the red.
Interesting.
She only did the red carpet in the dress, and then
I didn't realize it was the actual dress. It
was the actual dress. Yeah, it's worth $5 million. It was bought in auction years ago by Ripley's Believe It or Not. After she was done with the red carpet.
That makes it feel really cheap now.
It does, yeah.
Great. It was hanging up at Ripley's.
After she did the red carpet, she changed into a replica so that she could actually sit and eat. But she said, I'm not going to eat in it. I'm not going to even sit in it. She took really good care of it. She couldn't have it altered. So she had to wear these ginormous platform shoes because Marilyn was much taller than Kim Kardashian. And there's even a speculation that she lost a lot of weight to get into it, but she may not have been able to zip it up. That's why she was wearing that coat to like hide her back. So she didn't even look that good, to be honest, I don't think. And one of the main reasons is Kim Kardashian went blonde. And you don't know these things, but going from black hair to blonde hair is really difficult, especially if you do it quickly. Like, and that's what Kim Kardashian did. And her blonde hair looked so bad. It was distracting to me. Anyways, the Kardashians, they almost don't even care about, I mean, obviously they want to look good, and in their mind they think good, but even if they look bad or don't look good, just getting attention is the win for them.
That's their game. I've said that always. It doesn't matter if it's good, bad, ugly, indifferent. That's the chess piece that they use. It doesn't matter. If their name just came out of my mouth, it's a win. If I hate them and I think they're ridiculous pukes, it's a win. If they look great and they're awesome, it's a win. That's the genius of their game. That's why it's hard for anyone to tussle with the Kardashians like a Taylor Swift, because they live in the mud. You can't, Taylor Swift she had to stoop down to the mud, and it's like, no. You're not going to win that game versus the mud puddle. The mud puddle is always going to be better at being the mud. That's what's happening.
Kylie Jenner went in this like bridal prom outfit that I actually kind of liked because
I hated that with the stupid ball cap.
Yeah, but I liked it because it was stupid. I couldn't like I sort of like absurd. Like it was whimsical. Like it didn't take itself seriously, and it was kind of ugly, but I kind of liked that, you know, right? I kind of liked it. And she explained afterwards that she wore what she did because it was a tribute to Virgil Abloh, the designer of that dress, who died last year. And she was supposed to wear that same dress to the Met Gala in 2020, the one that was canceled because of COVID. So it was meaningful to her, and his wife, Virgil Abloh's, left a nice comment on Kylie's Instagram and blah, blah, blah. You know, Khloe Kardashian looked like she was going to a New Year's Eve Gatsby party. And fucking Kourtney Kardashian didn't even put any effort into it. Like she was asked,
not at all. She'll never be back.
Yeah, she was asked on the red carpet, why she chose what she did and how it has to do with the theme, and she's like, "I honestly didn't care. I don't care.
I honestly didn't put any thought into it at all."
Yeah, I know. And Kris Jenner looked the best of them all.
You know what? I actually think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Kris Jenner looked the best of them all. That was crazy.
I was about to say that I thought that she looked pretty good. So
yeah,
there was that clip of her like fucking with Elon Musk's tie or something, and I was like, she looks good. So,
hey everybody. So, if you could not tell, we had some Zoom issues that I've never had happen before. I had to restart the Zoom, and when I did that, I forgot to hit record. So unfortunately, the next part of today's podcast on YouTube is going to be audio only. But hopefully you stay listening, and then we're gonna resume with video and my chat with Margaret Cho. But for now, listen and enjoy, and see you in a little bit. I thank you so much for your support on YouTube. You're amazing.
You're yelling at the wind, okay? How often do we talk about how triggered everybody is and how soft I believe everyone is? This is what I'm talking about, okay? Things like this. Come on.
I mean, but then I say that, and I was triggered last week by fucking Jordan Sparks doing a 3-month fruit cleanse, but that's different. But, being healthy for 3 weeks, it's not like she's promoting an eating disorder. She said she was healthy. She said she was just sticking to, whatever. So, I had to bring that up because as a former fat person, I think I have authority to speak on that, all right? Anyways, Nicki Minaj was not expected to go to the Met Gala. She was there surprising everybody, and the person who leaked the news that she showed up was on the red carpet, and apparently she knows what that guy looks like, because when Nicki was walking up the steps, she saw him and she pointed at him, and Nicki Minaj said, "Are you the man that leaked that I was going to be here?" "Yeah, you. It was you. I'm about to come up to you and slap the shit out of you. Come here." Even if she's joking, I don't think that's funny.
Who gives a shit if she's there? Who cares?
She does, clearly.
The whole world's like, thank God Nicki Minaj made an appearance at the dumbass prom gala. Give me a break. Who leaked this? Like he robbed her of some great moment. The fact that he even said anything and she did this is the only story here. No one cares that she's there.
Yeah, she's not she's still an A-lister, but she's not as hot as she used to be.
Yeah, I don't think anyone cares that anyone was there. I don't think anybody's like, wow, that person was there. Well, it's just that cares that anyone's there. I don't think anyone's like,
true.
Wow, what a surprise.
That's not true.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, people were disappointed that Rihanna wasn't there. So if she would have been there,
could have been there,
and people would have cared.
No. I'm not saying people don't care about Nirvana, Rihanna. Funny with the syllables.
No, people care about Rihanna and the Met Gala.
Yeah, because she's a part of it. But I don't think it's a big, if somebody shows up, I don't think the whole world's like, oh my God, this person showed up. Maybe is a better word. I don't think anyone sitting at home has Rihanna on their Met Gala bingo card and says, thank God she's there. Yes, she's probably expected to be there.
You're absolutely wrong here. But the fact that she wasn't there is smart of her. And actually, you know who I wish was there, who would have been what we needed? Because in all, I think the Met Gala was kind of boring this year. We needed Julia Fox there. She needed to give us memes. She needed to give us fashion and wackiness. Cardi B, I think actually looked great. She was dressed in Versace and she gave us a real classy look. It was something different from her. After the Met Gala, there were rumors and speculation that something went down with Billie Eilish. There was apparently a misunderstanding. Mm-hmm. Who cares? Even let's say even if Cardi B and Billie Eilish got into a fight, which they didn't, Billie explained that she was overheard saying that something was weird, and some people thought that Billie Eilish called Cardi B weird, and Cardi B apparently was like joking about doing cocaine or whatever. Who even gives a fuck what actually happened? But afterwards, Cardi went on Instagram Live and did like a 3.5-minute rant about, let me read it to you. This is what Cardi said. Don't wish to be famous, bro. Wish to be rich. Y'all don't want fame. Once you become famous, you can't be yourself. You can't joke. You can't say nothing. You can't smack nobody. You can't this and that. You can't correct nobody. You can't do nothing. I'm really a prisoner of fucking fame. Fame, fame, fame. I don't even have a voice anymore. I swear to God, if it wasn't for this fucking Facebook show, I would delete all my social media right now because I'm so tired. I feel like God cursed me with fame. Dead ass. Dead fucking ass. God really cursed me with fame because fame is just like, oh God, I hate it here. If I could fucking click my fucking feet 3 times and go back to fucking 2013 when I was just a regular bitch dancing and making money every single night, that's where I want to be. That's when I was me. Not even 2016, whatever. Anyways, fucking Cardi B, like, nobody forced you to go to the fucking Met Gala.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. That's all you needed to say.
You were not
like she
held
has to go.
Yeah, you were not held at gunpoint.
Nobody has to go.
Recently on our podcast, I spoke about how both Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift have conscientiously made themselves boring. Neither of them attended the Met Gala. They could have very well been there, maybe should have been there, would have been received and were wanted there, but they chose not to go because they have made their private lives a priority and don't do anything that will lead.
Yeah, but you keep saying it makes them boring. To me, it makes them mysterious. It actually makes them interesting. It makes me wonder, what is Taylor Swift up to? Because she's not participating in the nincompoop online fights and this and that and the Met Gala. I find her to be classed up because of this stuff and not boring.
Okay, but it also doesn't make them more famous. Like getting attention and being talked about.
When you're A+ to begin with, how much more famous can you get than A+? Because Taylor Swift is A+.
Well, Kim Kardashian is also A+.
Yeah, but her game isn't to be silent. If she fell silent, everyone would be like, nobody cares. There's no talent attached to her. There's talent attached to Taylor Swift.
That's actually that's the next step for Kim Kardashian. She needs to start getting to that point, I think. Anyways, so yeah, I don't feel bad for you, Cardi B. I'm sorry. Not at the Met Gala, but at the after parties was Wendy Williams. It was nice to see her out and about and looking healthy. Good. And she was asked by the paparazzi how she was, and she claims that she's going to be back on TV this fall. We'll see. I don't know about that. God, we're not done with the Kardashians yet. Back to the Kardashians now. Prior to the Met Gala, Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian made their red carpet debut at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Mm-hmm. And just before that, Pete Davidson got a tattoo of the initials of Kim Kardashian's children. Now, Pete Davidson's entire body is covered in tattoos. Getting another tattoo is no big deal.
Right.
But getting the initials of her children tattooed on his body, to me, if I was Kim, that would be a big red flag. I'm like, yo, dude, chill. Like, that's just... No, like I would no. I mean, unless I was going to marry that guy tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's marrying Pete Davidson tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, it is odd. They're not your kids. And I get that you maybe have some sort of special bond forming with them. I don't know. For whatever reason, I don't believe it, actually.
Oh, we've seen it.
We've seen the tattoos.
Yes.
Huh? Okay.
It's on his neck and it says KNSCP. Kim, North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm.
Huh.
I don't even care what Kanye thinks. I care more about if I'm in Kim Kardashian's role in this. The only way that in my mind that's okay is if I have decided this is the man that's going to be my partner for the rest of my life.
Right.
We're going to get married.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Stepdad and the whole thing. And
Yeah.
a participant in this and that. It does. It kind of cheapens their relationship somehow. To me, it doesn't. It isn't like a sign of, oh, that's really nice. It's a sign of you need to get your head checked.
well, I mean, I won't. I'll
You'll let that one go.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of the Kardashians, an update on that lawsuit that was going on, the court case for a couple of weeks. It is over and Blac Chyna lost. However, she is planning to appeal the verdict in that defamation lawsuit, which is just dumb because she wasted so much money already and she's going to lose the appeal. I'm just saying. As if poor pregnant Rihanna did not have enough already with her baby daddy getting arrested. Even more drama now with the new report that A$AP Rocky has been secretly messaging this woman behind Rihanna's back. It could be fake. It could be real. Either way, Rihanna doesn't seem to care because after that story broke, she was spotted at an A$AP Rocky show jamming out and being very supportive of her man. Speaking of shows, on Tuesday night at the Hollywood Bowl, Dave Chappelle was performing. When he was almost done with his set, this guy got past security, jumped up on stage, and tackled Dave Chappelle to the ground. That was the initial story. Literally, I read before we started recording, it got wilder. He was carrying what looked like a gun. It wasn't a real gun, but it was a replica of a gun. And I think it had a knife in it.
Yeah.
You read that?
I read that. It's like something that sort of fires knives or supposedly, I don't know. It sounds like some tchotchke thing that really wasn't going to do anything to anybody.
But still, that's crazy.
How does it make its way in, number one? And number two, you know the Hollywood Bowl. How the fuck did he get up on that stage? That's a hell of a jump. The whole thing's wild. And that's the bigger problem with the whole Chris Rock thing that I've been talking about from the beginning. There are going to be people, you put these ideas in people's minds. There are going to be people out there, whack jobs, that say, hey, I could do that. I'll get myself some press. I don't know what their state of mind is, but we see this stuff. And now you're seeing the trickle down effects of things like this and why it's so dangerous. And it's scary. What if something happened to Dave Chappelle last night?
Or to that guy also.
Everything's just unbelievable to me anymore.
And it should be noted, you know, you've been to the Hollywood Bowl a bunch of times. I've been to the Hollywood Bowl a bunch of times. Like at the Crypto.com arena downtown, they have metal detectors. So you have to go through metal detectors before you get inside. After it happened, Dave Chappelle said, beat that blank up.
I think they should have shot him. If you step onto a stage, you should be shot. I'm tired of all of this. I don't even care what your state of mind is. I'm sorry if that sounds insensitive. I don't care. This is out of control. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to die. This is not acceptable behavior in our society.
I don't know if it's like as simple as that. Because what if a 16-year-old went and somehow got access to alcohol and is drinking and gets up on stage? You're going to say, shoot that 16-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh, God. No. It's not as simple as that.
It's probably not as simple as that. But there needs to be the fear of something happening. Other than being tackled and coddled after it's like high-speed chases that happen in Los Angeles. They oh, nicey when they arrest them and put them in the car. It's just like you just put the entire city. And by the way, they run into these people at times, and car accidents are traumatic. And do they ever do the follow-up on the people's cars that they smash and their lives and how they've changed and affected just because some Yahoo sees this on TV and thinks it's okay? No. I would put missiles on helicopters. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is crazy, our society, what we're turning into.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that I don't even think that we've seen the last of this with regards to like Dave Chappelle.
No.
Like you mentioned, I think he's going to probably have more incidents like this happen.
Well, he'll be hiring even more security.
All right. The freaking never-ending Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial continues. And since our last show, a lot of wild updates. Amongst them, mid-trial, Amber Heard fired her PR team. That's just dumb. Because even that move got her negative press.
Well, the optics of that say one thing.
You're losing.
You're losing. I don't care if you hate them, think they're doing the worst job. You hired them. You ride that horse till the legs fall off, okay? This is 101. This is 101 when it comes to this stuff. Like, come on. What are you doing? So it's over. It's just over.
I agree. Also, the ACLU has confirmed that Amber Heard did not give them all of the money that she promised, because many years ago when they divorced, she claimed that she was going to give all of the money that she got from Johnny Depp to charity, and she said she was going to give money to the ACLU, and she didn't give all that she said she was going to. So she's now a proven liar. In addition to, you know, having her own domestic violence issues in the past, this is not boding well for Amber Heard, unfortunately. So much so that according to a new report, Amber Heard, who was not fired from Aquaman 2, even though the head of the studio wanted to fire her, her role in the movie has been considerably cut down. So she's already experiencing career repercussions.
Right. I read, and I don't know if it's true. I don't know what's true and what's not, but I read that there's a change.org.
Oh, yeah. It's
petition.
like, I think over 3 million.
3 million people. Imagine you've got time to sign that. What I mean, 3 million nincompoops, all of them. like this is important to you. She can't be in my next Marvel movie.
Well, I do wish her peace of mind. Speaking of messiness, from Amber Heard and Johnny Depp to Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis, Olivia Wilde is directing this new movie with her boyfriend as the star, Harry Styles. It's called Don't Worry, Darling, a psychological thriller. She was talking about it at CinemaCon in Las Vegas when it's similar to the Dave Chappelle thing. Security must not have been very good, because this person went up to her, says, "Here, I have something for you." Mm-hmm. She said, "This is for me." It was an envelope. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to open it." She opened it, looked at it, and she said, "Okay, got it." Handled it like a pro, but in that were custody papers from her separation with Jason Sudeikis, whom she never got married to.
Oh.
So
she was just served.
Yeah. Jason Sudeikis claims that he had no idea that was going to happen.
He definitely doesn't. You don't
Oh, you
know
don't?
No, absolutely not. He had nothing to do with this. Zero. He doesn't say, "I know whatever." That's the court's problem to find out how to serve you. Like, I've been served before. They just figure out your schedule. Someone literally has to hand it to you. Like, there has to be someone that can prove that the person got it. So when you're a celebrity, you live behind walls. You're not going to be out in Gen Pop just walking around. You can't sit around all day long. You find out, where's this person going to be? And then you say, oh, this person's going to be at CinemaCon or whatever the fuck it is. I'll go there and I'll stand there with my manila. They're not going to know who I am. And when I take my moment, I'll walk up. You know, this person didn't have a weapon. I'm sure it doesn't accost her, didn't rush her, just said, "Here, these are for you." That's just being served.
All right.
You don't have any say in that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
No
well,
one
good.
does. That, I'm sure he was probably embarrassed by how it
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
But still, it's not up to him. It's up to them to have someone of the court literally hand you those papers, so no one can say, "I didn't get those papers. They were lost in the mail." This prevents that from happening.
All right. Well,
par for the course.
Served in a very embarrassing way.
Absolutely.
Oh,
and by the way, she didn't even have to acknowledge it. She could have just said, "Well, you know, I was just served and that's it." No one needed to know.
Well, she didn't acknowledge it.
How did they find out that that's what it was, that she was being served?
That's the weird thing. I don't know.
That sounds like a publicist
Well,
slipped
that's
this
why.
out.
That's why I thought that Jason Sudeikis knew, because otherwise nobody would have known. She didn't say it at CinemaCon.
She told somebody and somebody leaked it. That's what happened.
I guess somebody leaked it, but it's hard to determine what side leaked it.
Yeah.
Like usually I could tell, oh, that side leaked it or this side leaked it. I don't know which side leaked it here.
Here's my bet that she probably was jarred by it a little bit, because anytime I was served in a parking lot at Ralph's on like Doheny last time I was served for a lawsuit. Somebody walks up to you and hands you something very quickly. It's scary. You're out in just public. You're like, what is this? And you're like, oh, okay. So maybe she was just taken aback and said something to someone and didn't think about it when she'd said it. And then all of a sudden somebody told somebody else. And of course, you know, it makes its way to the press. But I'm sure she's embarrassed, and I'm sure Jason Sudeikis is embarrassed. But that's par for the course. They're making it all salacious, like he fucking said, serve her here. It's like that. It doesn't work that way.
Well, speaking of embarrassing, Meghan Markle has suffered an embarrassment. Meghan Markle had an animated show that was supposed to be on Netflix called Pearl, and Pearl got canceled before it even premiered.
Right.
Before it happened.
Was this on Netflix, you said?
Netflix. Yes. Netflix has been going through some drama.
Yep.
We talked about it on the podcast prior. But if you are an A+ lister, Netflix will do whatever they want with you, whatever you want, right? Like, who's the biggest star in the world right now? Adele. If Adele goes to Netflix and says, I want to do an animated show, Netflix is going to be like, okay, let's do it.
Maybe not. I think the days of Netflix, the old joke with Netflix is somebody picks up the phone and says, hello, Netflix, you're greenlit. And that's the way Netflix has been operating, to the point of they've lost half their value. I think that ends. I think everything you just said is now over. I don't think they're going to pick up the phone and say yes to everything anymore. That company needs to refocus and get back to quality. And, you know, enough of these celebrities and their glamour project movies and Adam Sandler $500 million deals for movies that 16 people watch. That's the problem with Netflix. And I think they know it's their problem now, and they ran out of money. It was going to happen. So, no, I don't agree with you. I think that...
All right, well...
maybe, by the way, maybe Adele could. If it was Adele doing Adele things that people actually want to see. Mm-hmm. But, like, no one gives a shit that Meghan Markle's going to fucking be doing a voice of... Who cares? You know, they got to start cutting, trimming, and making responsible business decisions. And I think that's what's happening at Netflix.
All right. Well, in other TV-related news, Oprah Winfrey reveals that she did not leave her house for 322 days straight during the pandemic. Oprah lives in Montecito.
Yeah, what the hell that must have been.
Yeah, and she has a compound.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, did she make her chef isolate with her for a year as well? Because you know Oprah's not doing her own cooking for a year.
Maybe.
Well, fine. What about the person that cleans her house? Because you know Oprah's not cleaning her house. Did
Right.
she make that person stay with her for a year? How did that work? I need to know details.
I don't. I think everyone's full of shit. And wow, she stayed in Montecito for a year. I volunteer to also stay in her house in Montecito. Fuck, I'll clean her toilets if I'm allowed to live there for a year, okay?
All right. In other news, Amanda Bynes has a lot of folks concerned because she was on social media talking about her fiancé and making private things public and making allegations, and who knows what really happened. But she even claimed he relapsed recently and started using crack cocaine. I would think, why do you need to make that public? You don't.
You're talking about an ill person. Let's move on. This is irresponsible.
To talk about it? I mean, she posted it on social media.
And
it was trending.
you talked about it. Well, it's trending, so that we should
mainstream media,
glamorize it some more and talk about it.
I'm not
This is a sick
glamorizing
person. You know,
it.
she's a sick person. Let's move on.
The mainstream media was talking about it. It's not just me, you know. So anyways, I'll move on. Bad Baby's father is saying that his daughter was groomed into her OnlyFans career. And I would counter, didn't she groom herself into her OnlyFans career? Just Just saying. I sort of understand what he's getting at, but I think she knew what she was getting at and wanted, and she wanted that money, and she got it. Yeah. Speaking of money, Britney Spears' fiance is working on a prenup and apparently wants a substantial increase for every 5 years of marriage is the headline. Blah, 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 blah. Sounds fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a prenup is. It's an arrangement. Yeah. It's thankfully they're doing that. So why is he being smeared for that? It's responsible. You're getting married.
Yeah. All right. In other news, have to send light to Winona Judd and Ashley Judd, whose mother Naomi passed away a few days ago. According to reports, well, the sisters revealed that they lost their mother to mental illness, and the latest is that she died by suicide. And like show people that they are, literally the next day, both Ashley and Winona Judd showed up at the Country Music Hall of Fame ceremony where their mom and sister Winona were being inducted.
Wow.
And gave a very tearful acceptance and honoring their mother. The show must go on. And also I think it's kind of healing for them too, and communal mourning and all of that.
A lot of love in the room for her, and she's a part of that, and she was being honored. Brave of them to show up. I'm sure it was very hard.
All right. Madonna surprised folks by going to Colombia to perform with Maluma and gave cringeness. I think what it is that she keeps going back to the same well. It's like me being shocking and sexual or this. Like, it's lazy. It's under-rehearsed. It's easy and it works. But I don't care if Madonna's sexual, if it's executed well. It just was not executed well as a hardcore old school Madonna fan. It was lazy, under-rehearsed.
Who cares?
Whatever.
Come on.
All right. We're running out of time. All right.
Yes.
Lady Gaga released a new song called Hold My Hand. Have you heard it?
I have.
What did you think?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good soundtrack song. It's going to play great at the end of Top Gun.
Yeah, good soundtrack song, singing her face off, big vocals. It'll sound great live. I don't think it's a hit, personally, and it's clearly not as good as Take My Breath Away from the original Top Gun soundtrack. But it's a good song. I like it.
Yeah.
Also, Justin Bieber released a new song called Honest.
Ugh.
I could not even make it through the
Neither
the
one
song.
of us could. We had the exact same take. Ugh.
His wife, Haley, opened up about actually how far more serious her health issues were recently. She had a mini stroke and ended up having to have heart surgery because she was having a heart issue and wildness. But she's better now, and she actually was at the Met Gala. And finally, Harry Styles is doing a one-off concert in New York City the day of his album release, where he's going to perform his entire album in full, which I don't want that. Why would I want to hear 12 new songs that I've never heard before from
Harry Styles fans are going to eat it up.
All right, let's take some calls.
I listen to you every week, and I've never been more disappointed in Booker in my life.
Really?
Than when he just told 100 disenfranchised Black Americans to, quote, grow a pair. And even if he spoke out of context, it's just really ignorant. Just don't say shit like that.
The Tesla thing. I told you right afterwards.
But to your point, you did tell me, is this person fucking deaf?
But you still said it.
No, I didn't. God damn it. We even cleared it up. You said people could say that I took it one way. And then I said, Perez, you have a point. However, I was talking about people in general, how they're very soft. Listening comprehension is out the fucking window in this country. It really is. It's at an all-time low. It's an epidemic at this point because that's not what I said. Einstein, open your ears.
All right.
You know how many people complain? You. He literally said people could take it that way. And I literally said, that's not what I'm talking about.
So let's wrap it up because I'm having Zoom issues where it's going to run out in a minute and a half.
Hi, this is Vanessa from Long Beach, and I was just commenting on the whole Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. I'm not a huge Johnny Depp fan, but when you guys are talking about this site, she spent, I think, over 12 hours with Amber Heard and diagnosed her based on assessment, which is how that kind of thing works. And I think originally she was working with Amber and then switched sides. I'm not sure exactly how that happen.
I don't understand this call. Thank
All
you
right.
for your call. That didn't
Appreciate
make a lot of sense.
I'm
Wrap it up.
having Zoom drama. We're on a clock. I've never had this happen before, so we have to finish it. I'm going to upgrade for next week. Right now, enjoy my interview with Margaret Cho, one of the funniest people I know and a delight. First of all, who are we joined by?
This is Lucia Katerina. She's really excited because there's a squirrel outside, so she's going nuts.
Oh, where did that name come to you? How? Or
Lucia
why?
Katerina. Lucia is a very avant-garde, a very cool Cuban film, and then Katerina, it's Catherine Deneuve.
Oh,
And it's like her. What it means is clear light, because she's a clear light in my life, even though she really wants to really kill the squirrel outside. I mean, she's not going to do it, but she just wants to bark at it. She's very enthused.
My dog gets that way too. Well, there's so much I want to talk to you about. And of course, I want to talk about comedy and your stand-up and all of that. But first, it seems like you're always a busy actress, but 2022 seems exceptionally busy on the acting front. You're going to be a recurring character on The Flight Attendant season 2.
Yes.
You're also
I love that show. Yes.
We'll get to that. You're also going to be in, is it one or more episodes of Hacks?
Just one, but hopefully there'll be more. I mean, I love the show and I really am like so excited just to be in it. So I would love to do more.
All right, we'll get to that too. And finally, but that I know of, you might have even more. You're also co-starring in a film with SNL star Bowen Yang that comes out this summer called Fire Island, which I expect to be very gay.
It's so basically the gayest of the gay, which is the best. I love it.
I love it. So, you know, those are 3 really awesome acting gigs. At this point, oh, he's like, I thought he farted. I'm like, did your dog just fart? No.
She could.
That's funny. At this point in your career, do you still have to audition or you just get asked to do things?
Both. I think, you know, sometimes it sort of depends on the project and it sort of depends what is kind of being called for. And sometimes it's like just pestering them until they put me in it, like with Fire Island. But well, no, I'm good friends with Bowen and Joel Kim Booster, who wrote and stars in the film, and I really love the movie. It's such a beautiful film, and it's really such a great gay Asian fantastic love story. It's perfect summer romance, but it gets into a lot of very deep issues about class and race and about being gay, which I think is really great. And also we get to shoot in Fire Island, which is tremendous. So I loved it.
And we don't often get to see gay love interests that are same-sex couples or anything outside. First of all, there aren't that many, gay Asian, there aren't that many Asian leads in films or TV shows. So anything like this should be celebrated. But the fact that they're showing us queer representation is even more so. Can you tell us a little bit about your character in that movie that comes out on Hulu this summer? Are you like the best friend?
I'm like the mom.
Mom.
It's the wonderful retelling of Pride and Prejudice. So it's a wonderful like reimagining of a kind of class romance that's, you know, very much, it's really giving Bridgerton, but it's more Bottomton. It's giving summer, it's giving bottoms, it's giving heists.
But it's set in the current time.
Yes, it's set in present day, but there's something very, I think, throwback about the sentiment, the idea that, you know, Vacation and Fire Island is a place where time really slows down. And that's kind of very typical in these sort of Jane Austen kinds of like very big period pieces, is that you see sort of time stop. And that sort of happens when you're on Fire Island. In a way, magically, time really stops and allows you to savor the moment of romance, the moment of love. And I think this is like a great film about that. And I'm the mom and the hag of everyone, which is really the familiar role for me. And I had such a great time.
I've never been to Fire Island. I need to
No?
go. No,
You should.
I need to. Well, on the flight attendant, you have a recurring part this season, and also on this season is Sharon Stone. Were you in any scenes with her?
I wasn't, unfortunately, because I love Ms. Stone, and I'm a longtime fan, and I think that she's just an icon. And so I didn't get to do any scenes with her. All of my things we did in Iceland. So my character actually is an Icelandic person. I'm actually so excited to be there, and we got to shoot there.
I'm like, I won't put you on the spot, but you did an Icelandic accent?
No. I'm Korean American, but living in Iceland.
I see, because I'm like, if all of a sudden I have to start speaking like Bjork, that would require months of work.
That'd be so fabulous.
Well, that sounds awesome. You got to be on a show that is, nominated for Emmys, is talked about, and like a vacation in Iceland while at it.
Yes.
Iceland's kind of like always cold though, right?
She's cold. She's giving ice. She's giving weather. I had moon boots. I had a jacket. I had a hat and gloves. It was very cold.
Were you there when it's like 20 hours of darkness?
Yes.
Oh,
so that's really strange too, when you're in the perpetual night. But there's something also very romantic about that. And Kaylee and Rosie are just such great actors. And the world of the show is really exciting. And as a fan of the show, it's really amazing to just be in the world of it and just to be acting in the snow, which is so I felt very Nordic. It's really exciting.
I'm not a fan of the snow, but if it's like for a short period of time, I could be down with that. I have 3 children, so I will explain away everything as saying I have parent brain. Were you, 'cause as we're just chatting now about all this acting that you're doing, I had this thought, and I don't remember, were you on the original Sex and the City?
Yes. So that's one of the first times that I got to really experience that excitement of going into a world that is established, that you already know. And so I really appreciate that feeling of getting to step into this television landscape that is familiar, and also fangirling out on everything.
Have you reached out to them? Because they're bringing the show back for another season. I'm like, hey, can I come back?
I'd love to. I would love to also just be there. I love it. I was actually, I'll miss Willie Garson. Willie Garson was my team partner on a game show that we did called 25 Words or Less, which he was a formidable player. And so that was the last time I saw him. And he was telling me about the reboot, when it was happening. He was so excited about it. And I wish that he could have been here to see the success of it and to continue on as a character. He's a very beloved and important character on the show. And so he's dearly missed.
Yeah. And of course, you mentioned Hacks with the fellow icon, Jean Smart.
Oh, so great.
The gays, I'm just being your consulting agent now. The gays are obsessed with Hacks, and the gays are obsessed with Euphoria. We need to get you on Euphoria as well.
I would love to be either an alternate drug dealer to Lori. I love the whole world of the drug dealers on that show. Who are those people? And also you don't see really the teachers. So I would love to be a teacher. That would be great. Any kind of parental figure. I'm so into Euphoria. So yes, anytime.
So thankfully, the world is kind of back to normal now, and stand-up comedians and musicians are out on the road again. I think I'm actually going to see you in Los Angeles on
Yes.
May 7th at this Netflix show at the Greek.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
I'm excited about that. And
Yeah.
I've seen you do stand-up many times.
Mm.
One of my first times ever seeing anybody doing stand-up actually was you when I was still in college.
I love it.
I think it was like you had a show at the West Beth Theater.
Yeah.
Was that the West?
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah, in
that.
New York.
And
Wow.
and
That's
you
so
know,
great.
one of the things that I love about you that you're kind of known for, and I would just love an update as a fan. You know, when I think of you and your comedy, one of the main things that comes to mind is your mother. How's your mom doing these days?
She's doing great. She's like very like, I think, you know, she's just really enjoying about like, I think being in the spotlight, as a lot of times Asian women, as they get older, really disappear. So she's really a star. You know, she's very much like, I go everywhere and they ask me, are you Margaret Cho mother? I'm so famous. You're nothing without me. So she's very famous and very happy to be as famous as she is.
Does your mom have social media?
She doesn't. She should. She should have a TikTok.
She should, or
I should
something.
talk her into it. That would be good to have. Yeah. We'll get her down for that.
Have you ever thought about doing anything officially with your mom? Because you talk about her all the time, but like doing like a reality show or a documentary?
We've done that. We've done that. Like it's been a while. We had a reality show called The Cho Show in 2008. Which
parent brain.
Yeah, you were on it actually.
I was.
Yeah, you were on it. It was really great, and we had a great time. But I think, yeah, it's kind of like my parents love the spotlight, and they've done celebrity wife swap with me, and so we swapped family with Holly Robinson Pete's family, which was really great. And they just love Holly so much, and they really adored her, and they cried when they had to like put her back with her family. They were like, oh, we want to live with her. We love her. So they want her to be their daughter too.
And they still live in San Francisco?
They live in San Diego. So they moved, but they sold their house for so much money where I grew up in San Francisco. Like it's so expensive. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize that house was like so valuable. But you know, it's weird because it's the one house that I still dream about. Like I never dream about the house that I live in now. And the house I live in now, I lived in much longer than the house I grew up in. But for some reason, it's the house that's always in my dreamscape, the one that you grew up in.
Formative years. When
Very
you think
expensive.
about it, you've been in show business for 4 decades now.
Long time. Yeah. Long time.
And everything changes, you know, like even the social media world is constantly changing. But when you think of stand-up and comedy, what are your thoughts about the current landscape of comedy and stand-up?
It's really interesting. I think that comedy, it's so diversified and there's so many ways that we can be funny, and social media has a big part in that. And I just started a TikTok, which I really enjoy myself. I should bring my mom into it because she would be very famous on there. But I think it's really cool. Like it's so many different ways to be a comedian, and also so many different ways to reach audiences, and also the diversity of like people out there performing. I love that. I think that we just have so much more queer comedy, so much more Asian American comedy, which to me, it's like, that's my world, is queer and Asian American. So it's really exciting.
Do you think we're expecting too much correctness from comedians though?
I think
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's both the way that society's moving forward, and that we're expecting more from artists. We're expecting people to be understanding of identity politics, of equality, of where language can be sexist and racist and homophobic, where we can be ableist, where we can be flaunting privilege without even understanding what that privilege means. And so I feel like we're learning as a society together to examine where in the past we've had problems. And so I think it's noble, although it can hamper the idea of like, people getting afraid to tell jokes because they're like, oh no, this is going to get me canceled or whatever. But I feel like it's like we're all just learning together and we're all trying to move forward together, and it makes you more skillful as an artist. I would hope that it would make you more skillful. We're just trying to be better.
You've never been canceled. Well, except literally getting canceled on your sitcom in the 90s.
I got canceled on my sitcom in the 90s. So I got canceled so early, but that was so rough because it was like the only game in town. So, it's mostly like you think everybody sort of has it rough every time we open our mouth. And so you have to be just sort of careful of like, oh, what do I makes you think before speaking, which is probably good. But then, who even understands what it means? I mean, people who are canceled come back hard. So, what does it even mean anymore? I don't know.
True.
I
mean, I'm not even going to ask you about it. I'll just, because I don't want to sidetrack the interview, and I don't expect you to have an opinion on it, but to put it out there for everybody, Louis C.K. won a Grammy recently. So like what you said, is anybody ever really canceled, I
know. And he was just ahead of his time. He should have just started an OnlyFans. That's really what he should have done. I mean, he was just behind the times for once. I'm sure a lot of people would have paid to watch him jerk off. But he's still, it's so weird how like sometimes men are able to just to get away with anything. And it's
white
really
men especially.
Yeah, it's sickening.
Well, we briefly touched on your sitcom from the 90s, All American Girl, which had you as a lead in it back when, there was no Crazy Rich Asians and there really weren't as many Asian folks being shown on television. When you think back on that time, if if like Back to the Future were real, you can go in a time machine, knowing what you know now, is there anything you've done differently that you might have been able to like save the show per se?
I don't know. I think that we were really kind of in a difficult position because it's hard to be first anyway, no matter who you are. In that regard, like we had a really tough road to hoe, and it was the first time Asian Americans had a TV show. I was not ready as an artist to helm that, and I also wasn't as developed as a comedian. So I didn't know exactly what I was doing. And I was also a very filthy nightclub comedian who was queer, who was talking about queer things, not necessarily ready for the family hour on television. So there was a lot of things. I think that maybe, I'm not sure what I would have done differently. Maybe I would have worried less about being thin enough for television and more about being funny, which my attention was really diverted to trying to be thin, like 90s thin, which is like really impossible.
Kate
if you think
Moss,
about.
All they did was smoke and
it's
nothing
hard.
else.
It's hard. It's like you feel so sorry for the person that had to go through that. Like I look back and I feel really sorry for the girl that I was. I didn't appreciate my youth because I was under so much pressure and scrutiny. But now I'm like, I don't care. Like I feel really good about where I came to. So I think it's all worked out.
If you had let's say your friend Bowen gets his own TV show, is there any advice that you would give him? Like, listen, do this or do not do that.
You have to put me on it. And because I'm in my Joan Collins phase where I'm like the guest star on every Asian show, whether it's, his show or like Aquafina's show, which is Bowen's also on. And I think, that's my goal, is to be on every Asian American project. I think it's really exciting. And so I'm in my phase, like, just have me on it. That's my advice.
So, I don't even want to, I'm not going to talk about this because it'll give me and everybody PTSD, but we all saw recently at the Oscars an incident of a joke going wrong. You know, you've spent decades in comedy clubs. What's been like the worst experience, like the worst heckler or somebody who just did not take a joke well? Do you have anything that comes to mind?
I don't have anything like that. One time I had diarrhea on stage, and then it was during a standing ovation, so I had to back out of the theater. So it's mostly me that had the bad reaction, not the audience.
That was part of one of your shows. What persimmon? Wait, it was like a.
Oh, that was a different time. I have a lot of like problems with my. Yeah, I have a lot of issues, but it's now sort of sorted itself out. But because I was a raw vegan for a long time, and you just don't know. You're like a ticking time bomb when you're raw vegan. I mean. That bad vegan show kind of doesn't go over any of the bad stuff that happens when you're bad vegan, when you have diarrhea all the time. That's really, then you're a real bad vegan. So I was bad. And it was so, that's the worst things that have happened. But my favorite thing that happened out of all of the Will Smith's Chris Rock stuff is all of the mommy dearest memes. Like, I'm not one of your fans. All the mommy dearest things, anything that references mommy dearest, it makes me feel good. So I'm just excited to see a Joan Crawford, Faye Dunaway meme anywhere.
At this point in your Joan Collins era, is there one thing that you're drawn more towards? Is it doing stand-up on the road, or is it acting?
I love both. I love the joy that comes from doing stand-up on the road, but I also love the accomplishment and excitement of being able to be in movies and television shows. You know, to me, it's very thrilling to be a part of all of it. So I hope to do it all.
In the past, you've released music. Have you thought about doing like either being in one or creating a full-on musical, a stage musical?
That would be great. I mean, I think that would be really exciting. I've thought about it. I think that it's something that is like really a possibility and something that I would love to do. So yes, I still do music on my own, just for my joy. And I really love to play and sing. And so that to me is always going to be a part of my life. So yeah, maybe someday.
And these days, you know, in the past, you've opened up about, you know, your how you identify, and it's evolved over the years. How would you, in terms of either your sexual identity or just how do you identify these days? Does that matter to you?
I'm definitely queer. I'm definitely going into a gray sexual, actually asexual period. So I'm sort of like ace, gray, ace, aromantic, asexual, but queer dominant. So I feel like I'm aromantic, asexual, but still very queer, which I think is really the progression of the crone. That to me seems appropriate, and it feels very right. So that's kind of where I'm at, which feels really good.
Just even hearing you describe that, are you in therapy? Because it seems like you're like working on yourself.
Always. I mean, I'm not currently, but I have been for years and years and years. You know, it's a journey. And so it's something that I really enjoy. And I think that it's really helped my life tremendously, but it's also helped me sort of understand like where I'm at. And in queer life, you go through phases. You go through these very like different phases where I was in a slutty phase for a long time, but now I've kind of gotten through the other side of that. And the other side of that is like this wonderland where it's almost like the emotional charge of being alone is really enough. And so it feels very good.
Yeah, I'm where you are, but not really by choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm celibate going on 6.5 years, but that's because nobody wants to have sex with me. I don't want to do the apps. I don't.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's like,
but
there's so much.
Everybody does.
But there's so many people that aren't truthful on those apps. It's like, what's actually happening? Like, I don't even know what the point is of going on there and lying is. There's so much of that, like, kind of deception happening, and it's odd. Is people are just unable to be themselves, and so I just think, like, I don't even care about the lying if the dick is good. That's fine. But it's like, also, like, I'm not really interested.
A lot of people, as they go through this journey of life, they discover new things or try new things that they really gravitate towards later on in life, like former President George W. Bush being a big painter now.
I know, yeah.
Have you picked up painting or creating pottery, or is there anything these days that you're doing new that is exciting you?
I am an active birder. We have a sapsucker that is new that's been coming around here. I have 30 bird feeders, all different,
30
all over the house.
You're way into it.
I'm way into it. And then I also have a carnivorous bog garden. So I have carnivorous plants. I have many Sarracenia and Nepenthes and Venus flytraps of several different kinds. So they're in bogs, and I also grow strawberries and tomatoes.
So in addition to your show in Los Angeles, do you have a bunch of other gigs lined up?
I have another show for the Netflix is a Joke Festival the day before at the Wiltern in LA. And I'm also doing another Netflix of a Joke Festival with Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda. So I'm a big part of that festival. So I'll be doing all of those.
So you'll be there. That's in Los Angeles. If you're here early May, go check that out. I am always so happy to chat with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you next month.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Love you.
Bye.